Hello everyone! Today we are going to be talking about how to plan what you are going to wear for a trip. Now, obviously, every trip is going to be different, so the tips that I'm going to give you today, you can kind of change it up depending on the trip, but it's basic things you want to think about when it comes to planning what you're going to wear. Now, the first most important thing is the weather. Check the weather of the destination. If you don't check the weather, you're gonna be in for a world of hurt. If you live in a warmer climate and you're going to somewhere colder, you may have to plan ahead and buy clothes that you don't normally wear. Same thing goes for right the opposite. If you live in a colder climate and you're going further south and you're gonna be at a beach, you may not even own a bathing suit if you live in a colder climate. So you want to check the weather of the destination first and foremost before you begin buying clothes, planning for the trip. That way you are going to be prepared. The second tip is take clothes that you feel comfortable in. I have been guilty of this. If I take a trip and I pack everything that I own, I end up packing things that I think look good and I want to wear those outfits. However, I know I'm not gonna be comfortable in those outfits. And especially if you're going to a place where you have to do a lot of walking, you don't want to carry heels. You don't want to carry things that are going to weigh you down. If you're not comfortable at home wearing those clothes, then you're not going to be comfortable wearing them on a trip. So just don't take those clothes. The third tip is wear simple stuff. Wear layers. You can add layers on and take layers off in the trip, and you can mix and match those layers, especially when it comes to flying. Generally speaking, the actual flight has a tendency to be a little cold. I know every time I fly, I'm cold. They blast cold air on the planes, and so I always take at least a little jacket or some kind of extra layer that I could put on top of my normal clothes. So when you're going on a trip, kind of take extra layers. You may not be used to the climate in the area that you're going. And I know for me, I live in California, and in the morning it's chilly. And then mid-afternoon it gets warmer. Afternoon it's pretty hot, and then it gets colder at night. So I'm used to layering clothes during the day. I'll wear a jacket in the morning and then I'll take that off. Maybe I have a tank top underneath the top that I'm wearing, so when it gets hot during the day, I have that. So take layers because you can mix and match them and use them in different scenarios. Speaking of flying, this next tip is going to save you a ton of space when it comes to packing your clothes. Always wear your bulkiest items on the plane. Now, I know this can get a little uncomfortable. If you're going to, let's say, a very cold climate and you have this huge jacket or coat, but where you're flying from is a little bit warmer, then yeah, when you first get on the plane, you may be sweating for a minute. But if you put that big bulky coat on, then you don't have to pack it. It leaves more room in your suitcase. And you can always take the coat off in the middle of the flight and use it as a pillow. Or if you do get a little chilly, kind of use it as a blanket. Maybe wrap it over your legs while you're flying and keep your legs warm. but always wear the big bulky items when you're going to fly. Think of if you have a hat that you want to wear, but you don't want to pack that hat because it's going to damage it. Wear the hat. If you have big boots that you're going to wear for the trip, maybe you're going to go hiking, or if you have cowboy boots, those can take up a lot of room in a suitcase. So just wear them on the plane and you don't even have to pack them. Now, when it comes to packing your unmentionables, I have a rule that I always follow. I always pack at least one pair of underwear and one pair of socks for every day of my trip, but then I will add a few extra pairs. If I'm going for a week-long trip, that's 7 days, that's 7 pairs, but then I will add at least 3 more pair of underwear and socks. Now, I may not be wearing socks every single day. I may have flip-flops, or maybe that day I'm going to the beach and I don't wear shoes at all. But I always carry extra underwear and socks because you never know. Maybe you explore a city during the day and then at night you want to go to a nice restaurant, but you need to freshen up before you go to that restaurant. Then you obviously don't want to put back on the same underwear. That's just kind of gross. So for the days where you do have multiple things going on, carry extra underwear and socks. I've had trips where I did one thing in the morning, in the afternoon I did something completely different, and then at night I did a third thing. And by the end of the day, I have changed 3 different times, and I don't want to put the same underwear back on for each time. So always carry extra. And if for some reason you don't have enough room in your luggage to carry extra, a little tip is, in a pinch, you can use body wash or shampoo to launder your clothes in the sink of wherever you are staying. I have had to do that, not with my underwear or socks, but I have had to do that with other clothing items. Whether it was a shirt or a pair of shorts that for some reason just got kind of gross during the day, I threw a little bit of body wash on there, wash it, hand wash it in the sink, and then let it hang up and dry overnight. It's not the best situation. Your clothes end up smelling like your body wash or your shampoo, but I guess it's better than smelling like whatever funk you got on your clothes for that day. But when it comes to things like underwear and socks, it's always better to just carry extra. That way you don't have to deal with that. Now, I have mentioned this next tip in another video in the 5 weird things that I always take with me video, which you can find right here. And that is a bathing suit. I always carry a bathing suit with me because you never know when the opportunity can come up that you may want to go swimming or just lay out at a beach or go to a sauna, whatever it could be. But I always carry a bathing suit, and luckily bathing suits don't take up much room in your suitcase. Just throw it in. I usually put mine in with my unmentionables, my socks, that sort of thing. That way it doesn't get lost in my shirts and my tops. Another tip when it comes to planning on what clothes you want to wear on a trip is try to wear neutral colors. I'm talking black, white, gray, like a neutral brown, that sort of thing. Try to stay away from bright colors like yellow, orange, green, pinks, purples, really bright colors You can kind of blend reds and blues in with the neutrals to give it some kind of color. That way you're not completely muted in how you look. But if you carry a lot of neutral colors, especially black, white, and gray, you can mix and match all of your clothing. If you carry, let's say, a pair of blue jeans, then if you have a black top, white top, and gray top, that's 3 outfits. If you have a pair of black pants, then you can put the white top, black top, and gray top with that. Now you've got 6 outfits. So try to mix and match, but keep it in the neutral colors. That way you can get more outfits out of everything that you have taken. This is especially true if you're going to be traveling internationally. Not every country is big on a lot of colors. It kind of makes you stand out a little bit if you are from the United States and you wear a lot of bright colors in other countries. It kind of makes you stand out as a tourist, which can potentially backfire, and you could be a target for thieves or, that sort of thing. But try to keep the colors neutral, and you'll have a better chance of fitting in with the locals. Same thing goes for if you are traveling internationally. Try to steer away from the sportswear, the athleisure wear. This includes things like leggings, baseball caps, t-shirts that have bright logos, especially the types of t-shirts that have, Las Vegas on there and show where you're from, or it has your ball team on there. Maybe you're a fan of a certain team and you have those type of t-shirts or jackets, whatever it could be. Try not to wear those if you are traveling internationally, because again, it will make you stand out as a tourist and can make you a target. So just a plain polo would be a nice option for guys in some kind of muted colors. Blue and red could be okay. I would say more of like black, white, and gray is always a safe bet. Another thing to think about when it comes to planning what clothes you're gonna wear is try to take things that don't wrinkle. Things that have pleats, the material that is pleated, those kind of automatically look wrinkled. That's the look that it kind of goes for, so you could carry that. But think of the different fabrics that you're wearing, your clothes are made out of, and try to take things that are not going to wrinkle. You can take your clothes in different ways, whether it's folding your clothes or rolling your clothes, and think about, is this particular item, if I roll it or if I fold it, is it going to be more or less wrinkled? And nothing's worse than getting to a destination and you want to put an item on and it looks like you just wadded it in a ball for a week and then opened it up and it looks terrible. If you're staying at a hotel, most hotels do have irons. Little tip is always check the irons on something other than your clothes. Get like a pillowcase cover and try it on that first, because they don't always clean the irons as frequently as they should, and it can leave dirt and grossness on your clothes. But you can iron if you're in a hotel and they have one available. If they don't have one, maybe you're staying in a hostel. A good option to try and get out wrinkles is when you go to take your shower, hang up whatever clothing item it is in the bathroom with you and let the water run on really hot for a little bit so that it steams up. Maybe you just like to take a hot shower, and if you do, that's even better. But let that steam in the room kind of naturally steam the clothes, and that will help a little bit. Other than that, the only other option is to kind of dampen your clothes a little bit and let them air dry hanging up. That'll kind of get out the wrinkles, but depending on where you're at, if the water's not that great, your clothes could kind of smell by doing that. But that is an option if you have very wrinkled clothes and really don't have any other fix to it. You could technically, if you're in a city, run by a laundromat, throw $1 or $2 into a dryer, shove all your clothes in there, let them tumble for a little bit, and that'll get out all the wrinkles. But that eats into your travel time. But it just depends on what's important to you. If your clothes are very wrinkled, maybe TSA threw your luggage around, or you had to pack really fast at the last minute and now all of your clothes are wrinkled, it's at least an option. That way you aren't walking around looking all frumpy. Now, one thing that I always try to take with me, and it depends on the trip, is flip-flops. Flip-flops are so versatile. You can use them for so many things. If you're staying in a hostel, you definitely want to carry flip-flops. That's a must. If you are taking a train trip and you have a room on the train where you have to use the community shower, you definitely want to have flip-flops. Any place that you go where it's a community shower, or if you are going to have to walk outside, let's say you are staying at a hotel, but you have to walk through the hallways and then go outside to go to the hotel's pool, carry flip-flops. Yes, you may walk around barefoot every day at your house, which is great, but you don't know the sanitary conditions of where you're going to be staying. Yeah, they can vacuum the hallways and whatnot, but it's just better to be safe than sorry and just wear flip-flops wherever you're walking. I've gone to places where the pool was right outside my room and I was just gonna walk barefoot. And then I step on something sharp on my way to the pool and cut the bottom of my foot. That will really ruin a trip very fast, especially if on this trip you are having to walk. Nothing is worse than walking on a cut. So just carry flip-flops with you. If you're going, let's say, to the beach, then you can put your flip-flops in about a gallon size Ziploc type bag. And that way, when you have the shoes and you go to pack them back into your suitcase to come back home, you can put them into the Ziploc bag and then put that into your suitcase. And the last tip that I have today for planning what to wear on your trip is to take a hat. Whether you are a guy or a girl, hats are always a nice convenience. You can use them to have shade while you're walking around if you have like a baseball type cap, and you can also use it to, especially ladies who have long hair, you can also use it to kind of keep your hair out of the wind. There's been days I've been on a trip and didn't want to fix my hair. I was just lazy and didn't want to do anything with it. And just throwing your hair back in a little ponytail, putting on a ball cap, makes you look a little more put together. Kind of like, I did put some effort into how I look today. But ball caps can come in handy for various reasons. So if you have room in your luggage, throw just a simple baseball type cap in there. And if you don't, like I said before, just wear it on the plane. I hope that the tips that I gave you will give you something to think about when it comes to planning on what to wear on your trips. Like I said before, every trip is different, but you can kind of use these tips for pretty much any trip. Check the weather, plan ahead, and you'll be good to go. If you have any questions or if you have any comments, feel free to leave those below and I will try to get to those. And I look forward to seeing you guys in the next video. Bye!